Hey, buddy. I know my throat's like this. Okay, it's time to stream. It's time to dream. I'm Eric. I'm making a game. It's called The Godkiller. It's a 3D top-down puzzle-solving adventure game. Ooh. All right. So what we got? Just gonna demo real quick. Is this? I think that is a stale connection. Let me try connecting again. Much as I love Manifold Garden, I want it to show, yes, what I'm working on. Okay, very cool. Yeah, okay. So, these streams, I'll explain for the uninitiated, which is almost everyone in the entire friggin' world. I start with a quick demo of progress I've made recently, and then I move on and do some more progress. I show you what I did yesterday, more or less yesterday. It's almost always yesterday. And then I move on to the next thing. And if you like watching somebody program and write code and hang out and fiddle around with software, the second part is more interesting to you, perhaps. If you like just kind of seeing what the current status of the project is, and maybe you're sort of anticipating, hoping that it'll be out at some point in the future and kind of getting a little hyped up about it, cool. That's the first part, which is this demo that I'm going to do. So let me show you. I can't wait till I can stop giving this disclaimer, but basically there was an old project that had a bunch of stuff that was working. It broke. This is a new project. I've been moving stuff into it to reclaim the functionality that was in the old project, but in a much more sustainable container, more in line with my long-term goals. Okay, so what did I do yesterday? Tons of stuff. I started the day writing a list of all the things that were bothering me about the game, and I arranged them in sequence so that the ones that bothered me the most were at the top. And then I went through and I knocked off as many of those things as I could. The first one that was bugging me was, here, let me restart this with maximize on play. The first one that was bugging me was the guide. There's like some guide graphics around the player. It was broken yesterday morning, and then around the afternoon I had it working again. So the guide is are these pink squares around the player. Here, let me move around a bit. So each time this lady here moves, well, she can move in one of four directions. They're shown in pink. And if you press the up key, then you can see just by looking at the guide that she's going to go north to that square. Now, if I hit several keys in succession, the guide doesn't show. It just shows after you come to a pause. Also, a lot of people don't understand this, but it's a stepping game. So there's this guy chasing me, but he's only going to move when I move. So if I move up or north, actually, then he moves. Okay, the guide also tells me like the consequences of moving into a square that where that guy who's following me, who's called a brawler, could push me. So if I look at the south guide square, there's a little arrow pointing west. That means that if I move south, this brawler guy that's here, he's going to push me. The sound effects you're hearing are delayed because of quirks of broadcasting. So if I'm not playing on the stream through my kind of complex broadcasting setup, there's no delay. So if I move east, he's gonna push me, and he's gonna push me a long distance. I can push him too if the timing's right. So I'll show you. I go here. So now I can push him. I'll go west. And that pushes him. Okay, now the other part to the guide is flinging. Flinging means that when I hold down the shift key, those guides go out and they give me an idea of what will happen if I fling in one of the directions that is open to me. I can't fling west because it would take me off the edge of the world. I can fling north, south, or east. And you can see these little rings at the end that indicate where I'm going to end up if I fling. Alright, then there's two guys over here that are bystanders. Oh, wait, watch. The brawler followed me. He's gonna walk onto the spikes and die. Okay. That was another thing I got working recently, the explosions. Okay, so brawlers, boom, knock him, he'll start moving away. The other thing that I did yesterday that was actually the hardest of all was re-enabling the animations. I had to basically re-import some assets and get things linked up and recreated. But now, oh, looks like I got killed in some unexpected way. So now, like these bystanders, once you push them, they're afraid of you, and then they just try to run away. I could chase them if I want. The brawler's coming for me up north. Okay. Then I've got a nice sound effect that I like on these steps, but I don't think that's a new demo. I think I covered that yesterday. So anyways, so the question is, what do I want to do today? I'm starting really late, so I'd like to pick something that's not extremely ambitious. And I have up at the top of my screen my first thought, which was fixing the snapping. In order to do that, I would need to upgrade Unity. So I may not choose that goal for this session because I'd like to get done in maybe an hour tops. It's 7:11. I'll need to start thinking about cooking dinner around 8:30 or so. So let me change my goal. I think I'll go to the top of this. Okay, here's my list of things bothering me. The fling sound effect is not in key. I think a better one to do in this session is the level bounce. Level bounce should allow falling off the edge. Okay, so let me fall off the edge. It now says at the top of my screen that you can see. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix the level bounce. So let me explain that a little bit. So I'm here in the game. When I get to the edge, I would like it if I could kill myself in the game, not in real life, by pushing east and then just falling off the side. However, I created like this new kind of automatic bounding algorithm that will just take the boundaries of the level and shrink wrap them basically around the level really tight. So whereas before I had a kind of a, well, it was like a manually adjusted set of level bounds that usually had a gap at the end. Now this new algorithm just puts the level boundary right at the edge. So I've got some other code that says you can't go that over there because that's the end of the level. Even though there's like 3D objects off in the background and stuff, you know, that's, as far as the game is concerned, the playable, interactable area stops right at this edge here. So I can't step off of it. That would require stepping out of the world as defined by the level bounds. So my solution, I think, is just going to be to change the algorithm to add a 1 square gap all the way around. And then if that gap is there, then it will allow me to kill myself. Because everybody ought to be allowed to kill themselves if that's what they want to do. And besides, in this game, killing yourself is just not a big deal. I'll kill myself right now and you'll see. Killing yourself in this game is effectively teleporting. The game doesn't even restart when you die. You just go to the egg, you respawn, and the same thing happens to your enemies. That's why that brawler who died a whole bunch of times just keeps coming back. All he does is respawn. Oh, that's kind of a neat view. See him going up and down the steps. Boom, 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 boom. And then, let's see. Let's kill him. He's back. Alright, now I want to be able to knock him off the edge of the world too. So if I go down south, he's still coming at me because he cannot fall off the edge. But it's fun to knock people off the edge to their death far below. It's fun to do that. So let me fix the algorithm so it's going to allow the level bounding to go out just 1 square. That's all I got to do, and I think it won't be hard. Sometimes I'm really wrong about what's going to be hard though. So if I go to Alright, I got too many tabs. I've almost got too many folders too. Even though they're reasonably well organized, I'm starting to forget where everything is. There's several tens of files here now. It's a medium-sized project. I won't call it large, I won't call it small. It's very medium-sized. Okay. I want to see what's calling find level bounds, and it might make more sense for me to make it a private method to see what's actually using it. Okay, there is one gizmo that's using it. Okay. Okay, so now I'm thinking about bounds. What is the structure of bounds? It's got a center. Wow. What if this is all I have to do? Expand. 1F. That would be kind of cool. One line of code does this? That's kind of too good to be true. Let me see. I'll be able to see right in the editor too what the end result is. Okay. So yeah, it compiled and then immediately it just kind of went out by one. I don't know. I think I have to add 2 to it. It looks like around the edge it's maybe like a half. Let me just bring this out a little bit so I can see it better. Oh. Here. If I set this to ignore raycast, it won't affect the bounds, so I can use it as a marker. Yeah. Okay. So, boom, boom, boom. Got it. Change this to 2F. Now what's it going to do? That looks a little closer. In fact, that looks exactly right. Okay, so I could be kind of bothered by this wasteful extra height underneath, except that I know that my data structure for holding like the logical representation of this game world already does not store anything for a height that has no game objects on it. So I'm already in the clear as far as performance and not being wasteful of memory and stuff like that. So it appears to do the job. Let me hit play and see if I can walk off the edge of the world. I heard a good sound. That was the sound of the brawler respawning. So instead of going up against the edge and recovering, he went and respawned. So can I do the same thing? I can! Let me try all 4 sides. Yep. Yep. Oh, okay. So that's like too short though. It's like I finished that so fast. I finished that so fast that I need something else to do. Okay, I can fix the fling sound effect. I'm pretty sure I can. I'm pretty sure I can do it in this session. So I'll see how that goes. So I'll explain the problem. Let me do it by setting this thing up. Oh, whoa! Insertion failed. What assertion failed? I wish I knew when this code ran. Maybe I do know. Let me look at this. Oh. It occurred during the game. It occurred... Okay, I promised myself that whenever I saw a bug, I would stop and fix it. Whatever it is. I don't know if I can be a complete purist about that in every situation, but it's a good general rule, and I'll follow it now. So I was going to pick something else new to do, but I see a bug here, and I want to fix the bug. It's a good principle of keeping your software quality. It's just fix bugs when you see them. Because otherwise they just kind of pile up and compound upon each other, and you can't even see all the problems you have. There's just too many to look at. And eventually some of the code changes you make that are good are based upon the bugs and buggy behavior, and then you're kind of fucked that way. Like if you go fix the original bug, then you break something else because your other change was based upon the bug. Okay, prefabs level. Yeah, let's get some walls in there. Okay. So let me see. I just wanted to have two walls I can easily move back and forth between for when I go back and get to that the fling instrument being off key. It's easier to tell that way. But also I want to reproduce this bug. So let me trying to kill the guy a whole bunch of times to see if I can get that bug to happen again. Let's both die simultaneously. No. So far... Okay. I think I got it. If I fling the guy onto it, or I'm sorry, if I push the guy onto the spikes, that seems to kill him. So let me try placing it so I can do that. Without having to manipulate him. And just make it so I am immediately ready. Come on. Where is the... That's so weird. So I have player selected, but the anchor thing way over here, is that even right? It is. How unhelpful. I don't like it. I don't like it. Alright. So I'm kind of curious if, in order to get this bug to work, I need to fling him across multiple spikes. So my first test, I'll just fling him onto one spike. See if that does it. The reason why I think it could be 3 is because there's 3 assertions here, and it might be that the particle effect was called for each one of these squares going up to the wall. Let me try this first test. I would like to rule it out. Okay. So far my theory is holding up. Oh, I just want to make sure I didn't... Okay, no. Brawler's fine. Her, on the other hand... Oh, I hate that. I gotta go all the way out to here. Put that in the list of things that's bothering me. To save. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's it. And I think it probably worked in the past because the number of sploder instances. A sploder is a game object that represents the particle explosion that you see. So the number of sploder instances I create when the level starts is equal to the number of creatures in the game that could generate that type of explosion. And the brawler, there's only one brawler in this level, so I only created one instance of the brawler explosion, or sploder, as I call them. But when I push the brawler, he hits this guy here and creates the first sploder, and then he keeps going and hits the rest of these, requesting 3 more sploders to be created on each of those squares. But I only provisioned 1 because there's only 1 sploder on the level. So I just need to look at that code which creates that effect, and have it not continuously generate that effect over the whole thing. That's my theory anyways. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, that won't help me. Okay, so logic. Pieces. I think it is going to be this occupy square thing. Man, I gotta say, I was pretty good at centralizing this. Yeah, this is very dry. So, a good way to approach this might be to just add some safeguards around the exploder pool, so that when you ask for more explosions than are available, it gracefully handles it. In fact, I could get rid of this. I mean, I already do have some code that checks, oh, no exploders, just return null. So I can get rid of that. Then I just have to make sure that the calling code is not assuming that there's a exploder. Let me see. I already am handling it. So I think all I have to do is what I did. Just remove the assertion. So it's like a benign assertion. I add a comment to make sure that the calling code's not assuming, not being presumptuous, and I look at my calling code and it's not being presumptuous already. So some past version of me was being very reasonable. Okay, let us wait for the spinny. There it is. Hit play. And it will do exactly the same thing, but no assertion. That's fine. That's what I wanted. Okay, that means I get to move on to the next thing that's bothering me, top of the list. Okay, so if I hold down Shift, that's the fling guide sound. And it's melodic, and it's in the current key. So the notes that it plays are in the key of, right now, G major, but I can change it. Let's do F sharp major. There we go. Totally different key. Here's another one. Okay. I'll turn up a little louder so you can hear it. All right. Okay, so in the chromatic scale, there's different keys. There's 12 of them, and each one of them has 3 notes that harmonize. Okay, so for any of my melodic sound effects, they will play in the currently selected key, and that currently selected key is going to be important because later I'll add music, and music will have a certain key, and even that key can switch in the middle of the song. So it might be the first 30 seconds of the song are in C major, and then a little bit later, maybe the chorus of the song, it switches to E major, and then goes to a bridge, and then it's D minor, something like that. Okay, so whenever I play one of the melodic sound effects, I want it to sound right with the music that's playing. Okay, so I have one sound effect. That's the fling guide sound effect. The fling sound effect plays after you choose the direction you want to move, and you are actually flung in that direction. So fling guide is the clarinets that you heard, and then that horn is the sound of the fling. And unfortunately, due to delays in the broadcasting setup, there's a latency there. So you'll see the character fling across the screen, but the sound plays a little bit after. But the two do go together when I'm not broadcasting. Okay, so if I go... I can hear what sounds like the horn is not in the same key. I want to fix it. I want the horn to be playing in the same key as the clarinets. The fling guide sound is the clarinets. The fling sound, completion of that command, is the horns. And I did a little bit of listening to it yesterday and concluded that probably the horns are the culprit. So I'm going to take a look at that. Hopefully I've just misconfigured it. Okay. Also, I think I could stand to consolidate these directories a little bit better. I've got sound effects in one place and audio in another, which is more sound effects. But I'll get to that in a bit. So let me just look for the easiest kind of problem to solve first. Fling should be A sharp, E, and G. Let me see if that maps correctly. See, this is the fling sound effect. So if I go into audio, no, booter. Okay, so I've got fling A sharp. Null should be here for A, and then between A sharp and E it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's correct. Between E and G, it should be 2 spaces. Unfortunately, that is also correct. That means it'll be some other kind of problem. Like maybe a mislabeled sample. So another thing I can check is looking at the old project where the file names had different file names that came from the original collection from Carnegie Mellon University, and those file names may be different than what I used. I'll show you. Okay, if they are, they might hint at maybe I messed up on the naming of the note. So if I go to horns, A sharp, E, G. A sharp, E, G. Huh. Well, that's too bad. That was like the second easiest thing to find. A sharp, E, G. Okay, let me analyze the WAV files themselves to see if they're playing at the same note that they're labeled at. There's a website, and online pitch detector. See if I can get a C right off the bat. Let me try it. See how well my pitch is. Do. Oh wait, it's not on yet. Do. Okay. Do. Oh, I'm off. Do. Oh. Do. Oh. Dashed. I thought I was like a perfect pitch guy. Apparently I'm not. Do. Man, really? Do. I'm all over the place. I do not have perfect pitch. Do. Do. D. I'm all over the place. Even after I've established C, I can't get E. Apparently I'm just terrible. Okay. So now let's bring up these guys. A sharp, it says. Okay, that much is good. Okay, E. And then it said D. It didn't say G. So if that were true, if it were D, then this E should sound higher. But let me play this again and see if it does D a second time. No, there it did G. Well, let me do each of them 3 times because it seems like this is an iffy business. So I want to get like 3 tests. Okay, going for A sharp. Okay, good. Let's do E. G. I think there's like a little thing like it goes G and then at the very end of it goes down a slight amount. Like like kind of like that. Because I'll see it start on G and then it'll go down to D. And you can kind of hear it too. It's like, ow, ow. See, that definitely sounds lower though. So E sounds lower than G, which supports the assertion that this is G and not D, because if it was D, if it truly was D, then it would sound lower in pitch. So if I go here, the first note will sound lower than the second. Yep. Okay. So if my horn samples are correct, then maybe I should check out the clarinet samples, because they could be off. They could be out of key. Or I could have them misconfigured. So I'll check through these. I already got these up. I already got all this stuff up. I might as well check it. I guess I should check the new one instead of the old one. Okay, let me be a little more direct about this. As I was comparing maybe the wrong stuff. So let me check against what my project is actually using. Now this is interesting. This is... I could be closing in on it now. Okay. So this is the Carnegie Mellon original. And here's what I'm calling G. They're not the same sample. I think I've got these switched around. I think I got them switched around. So I got to match. I've got to get the ones that are named here to be correct. Okay. But you know what? Instead of me agonizing over like which of these goes to what, I can just bring these guys over. I can delete these. Okay. So now, go back to here. Okay, those match. But I'm going to get rid of this online tuner because any web app or any app that has a microphone running all the time scares me. Let me see. Well, this guy though, he seems like a good dude. I'm going to come back to his website later and share a link that I used his tuner to help debug this. But I have to finish the stream first so I can have the link to send him. Don Gooding, you're okay in my book, Don Gooding, for making your online pitch detector. Thank you very much. Okay, so back to the game. Got to redo this addressable stuff. Let me see if it gave it the same name. I hope it did. Kind of messed up. I think it... what the heck is this? That's really messed up. That's garbage. Alright. I'll do these by hand then. Garbage. I need to make these addressables match what was already there with those previous assets I deleted. Well, that one's fine. Okay. Let me see if that fixed it. I can already hear it sounds right, but I'll play with it some more. Let's try a different key. Okay, that's it. Oh, just one more, just for kicks. Let's do a minor key. Okay, well that's the end of that. So that means I get to go to the top of the bothering me, get rid of that garbage. And let's see, do I want to fix the selector thing? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Before I do that though, save everything. What's a bothering me? What's a bothering me? This is important, this stuff. If I just let these little things persist, they'll sap at me. So I have no idea what causes that to go away. Maybe I do actually. Because if I look at the bounding box of this whole thing. Alright, what's this? Bound, level bounds gives one. No, that won't work for that. Never mind. But what if I just grab all these guys? Is it the fling rays? Maybe it's the fling rays that are making everything go way out. Okay, just as an experiment, if I just delete all the fling rays, which is not a solution, but just as an experiment. Will the player go? Yes. God damn it. Okay. Then you go bam, and then the player selector is way out there. Is there some way to change that without deleting the other objects which expand the bounds? First off, what is that little selector thing called? Moving anchor point.
Hello and welcome, I'm your CodeMonk, and in this video we're going to figure out how to set the transform pivot to a game object. Let's begin. So here we are in an empty scene. Now, if you're new to Unity, one of the first things you'll need to learn is how to make a health bar. So if you want to make it in the world rather than in the UI, you will learn the way to display a sprite, which is first you create an empty game object, and then you add the sprite renderer component. Just like that, drag the bar sprite.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be it. By the way, is there just some way I can just make this not show up? Yeah, there we go. Not interested. There, I fixed that. Pivot point. Is that what I want? Let me try the Pro Builder stuff, see if it works. Okay, Pro Builder. I'm not sure if that pivot point is the same thing as where this gizmo shows up. I wish I knew what this gizmo is called. Maybe I can figure it out from here. Transform? No. if it's in here anywhere, then clicking this would turn it off, and it doesn't. So it's not a gizmo, actually. It's not a gizmo, it's something else. Okay, so I won't use gizmo to search. Okay, back to the player. And what happens? It's only going to work on a Pro Builder object. Game object selector. What is that thing called? What is that stupid thing called? Okay, positioning game objects in Unity. This might tell me what that thing is called. Move gizmo. It is a gizmo. Okay, let me try this again. Unity. Positioning, move gizmo. Far away. Yeah, this one. This one. Help me, Reddit. You have to center the pivot to the article, to the object. I want to do it in Unity though. I don't want to do it in some other tool like 3ds Max. I don't want to. I just want to do it in Unity. Oh, but I'm in the 3ds Max community. Okay, well at least I'm starting to get some ideas here. Okay, unity, center, pivot, point. Oh, this guy was going to tell me how to do it and I interrupted him. But I don't want to watch a whole video. Maybe I will, but no, come on, you fucks.
Hey y'all, Kristen on here for hobbygamedev.com. Just with a short tip in Unity, trying to help out one of my readers. They're following along my playing tutorial. If you haven't seen it, it's my second video about how to get started with Unity. The first one's about a car that crashes into trees.
Oh,
it's my crash course.
Shit. You know what's going to happen? If I keep watching these videos, YouTube will see the video that I'm watching inside of my video and export it, and they'll friggin' flag my video. So I'm going to, like, watch maybe the same video, but off screen. Okay.
Now in here, before we go further, I should point out that if you're using sprites, you can simply go into the health bar import settings, and here you can set the sprite pivot. So you can set it, instead of being in the center, set it on the left side, click apply, and as you can see now the origin of the game object, which is right in there, is on the left, just like we said on the texture, and we can now scale this normally. So we can now move the X and it works just like that. However, for now, let's ignore this ability for the purposes of understanding how Unity deals with transforms between parents and children and the difference between local space and world space. If you understand how transforms work, you'll be more capable of creating anything you want. Reset this back to center, and the transformations are always done from the origin of that game object. So in order to essentially change the pivot, you need to be tricky with how you position your child game objects. Take a child of an thing for this one. Right here, the values that you see are the local position for 0 back to 1. And now if we modify the scale of the parent, we still have exactly the same thing happening. However, by moving the child, we can essentially change.
Alright, so the gist of this guy's approach is just put it inside of another game object. And I already have that. It would just bother me to no end to require that I put that original game object inside of yet another game object. So there's something else going on here, and it's bugging the crap out of me. I gotta admit, this is not the... I might be able to get my mind around this. I don't have to move the player around that often, but I might be able to accept this. Let me just take a crack. Try this. Pro Builder. Center pivot. That sort of did something. I don't think like the Pro Builder objects are the source of the issue. I think it's one of the containing objects. And the Pro Builder operation can only be applied to a Pro Builder object. Okay, so I put that back how it was. This is like a really annoying problem too. I feel like there should just be a built-in way inside of Unity to deal with this. It's been around for years. Lots of people are bothered by it. Let's see what that does. I think I fixed it. Okay, let me just see if that works for the other objects too, because I don't want to have a bunch of weirdness. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Okay. +1 to Kafurkik. I'm sure that's the name he was born with. Kafurkik. Alright. So this has actually been a pretty good session. I fixed ad hoc bug and well, 2 ad hoc bugs and 2 things that were on my list that were bothering me. And I think this is a good stopping point. This is a good point in time to declare victory. And I can leave one of these other things here. I'm going to put it at the top of the list. So I think I'll do it tomorrow. Get good snapping. Upgrade Unity. Probably what fixes it is upgrading Unity. Okay, so that's it. That's a session. If anybody was watching or will watch it later, thanks for joining me. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. Stopping the stream now.